Hey guys, welcome to our next week of e-learning. I'm going to give you a moment to get your books, so if you need to pause me to do that. We're going to be in chapter 6, so look in your table of contents. In my book, that is page 101, so hopefully it's the same with yours. The title of the chapter is Writing Instructions. So that's what you're going to be working on. One of the things you're going to be working on this week. So chapter 6, page 101, Writing Instructions. Some of what I'm going to go over is going to be review stuff for you, stuff we've already talked about, but just kind of a refresher. And so if you look at page 101, the title is Using Precise Words and Details. And we've talked about this before in your writing. Above all else, you want to use vivid and specific verbs that create a picture in your reader's mind. Or you want to use nouns that are specific. So you can say dog, and that's obviously not specific. You can say chihuahua or lab. So be very specific. And then, of course, adjectives, are farther down on the list, and then adverbs are even farther down on the list. At the top of the page, first paragraph on page 101, I want to read you this. Mark Twain, who you all should be familiar with, is a very popular author, once compared the difference between the almost right word and the right word to the difference between a lightning bug and lightning. And obviously, lightning is more powerful. So choosing the right word is very important when you are writing, in any type of writing that you do. So your first assignment this week is going to be to go over page 101, and then the exercise that you'll be doing is on page 102. And what you're going to do here is take that paragraph that's in the green box. It's about making a water balloon, and they have some italicized words for you. And you're going to rewrite that on that page there, answering those 4 questions, keeping in mind that you're going to be using precise words and details. So as it is written, it's not using precise words and details. And if you did not know, but it tells you in the instructions, your book has a thesaurus in it, a limited thesaurus that begins over on page 316. And so you can use that, or you can use an online thesaurus or a hardback one if you have one at your house. But use the thesaurus as you rewrite that so that you get more precise words when you're doing that. And then if you'll turn over to page 103, you'll be looking at another video on Wednesday, not from me, but from another teacher that has some stuff on using precise words in your writing. And again, it'll probably be review, but make sure you watch that. It's only, it's less than 7 minutes long, so make sure you watch that. And then beginning on page 103 and going through almost the end of that chapter, you're going to be working on writing specific instructions on how to do something. The topic is yours. I do not care what you write on as long as you are giving the reader instructions on how to do something. So you can pick your topic. As in last week, it has to be 1 page if you type it, double space, 12 font. These instructions are on Renweb. If you choose, and then you can email it to me as an attachment, or you can put it in the body of the email. If you handwrite it, you need to make sure you skip lines as you did before, and then it'll have to be 2 pages, which will equal out to 1 page. Okay, so this is going to be writing specific instructions about how to do something you choose. Instructions are often confusing, and if you've ever bought something and they had instructions in there, particularly if it's something you had to put together or instructions on how to work something, and you read those instructions, sometimes those instructions are very confusing and you cannot understand how to put this together or how to use it if it's something that you use. So instructions are very important. So this is what you're going to be doing. Now, the one that is in your book on page 103 is on explaining how to make candy sleighs. But you're going to choose whatever you want. But you need to keep in mind who you're writing to. Okay? If you're, whatever age you are, but what you're doing, the instructions are for, say, a 4-year-old. If you write it in a way that's understandable to you, but the people that are going to be reading it or listening to it are 4 years old, then you have to keep that in mind. So pretend, who's going to be doing this and use instructions that would be understandable to them. On page 104, it tells you some time order words in a box there that you can use, because when you're writing instructions, obviously there's going to be a first thing you do, a second thing you do, a third thing you do. So they give you some time order words in the little orange box there that you can select from. And then if you'll turn over to page 105, you'll see that, as always, you need to do some planning. When you're writing instructions how to do something, you need to do some planning. If you're writing a short story, you need to do some planning. If you're writing a novel, you need to do some planning. Particularly for what you're doing, whatever it is, whoever's doing it's going to have some materials. And then you need to think about what's the order, because particularly if it's putting something together, order matters. Otherwise, you're going to end up with extra parts at the end, or it's not going to work. If it's for you girls, if it's baking something, there's a certain order that you put ingredients in. So you need to make sure that you get the order right. Otherwise, things are not going to turn out as they should. So make sure you think about some planning there. And then if you turn over to page 107, it deals with revising. You should never send me or any teacher anything without looking over it. I've told you guys this. When you put that last period, do not ever turn it in without looking over it. When you look over it, keep in mind what you have learned in school already and the videos about using precise words and details. So look for things that you could make more precise or more vivid. And you should always, no work is perfect the first time you write it. And it doesn't matter what level of experience you have as a writer. Even experienced writers who make a living writing have to revise stuff that they write. No writing is perfect the first time through. So expect to do revising. Nobody likes to do revising, but it's a part of good writing. It's just something you're going to have to learn how to do through your educational experience and into college. So look back over, see what you can revise. And then obviously, over on page 109, you need to do some proofreading. This is where you're going to look for grammatical mistakes, all the things that we have learned all year. You need to do some proofreading. Check for spelling. If you have typed this, hopefully whatever program you're using, Grammarly, Word, has caught any errors. But that doesn't substitute for you looking for them yourselves. Look for commas, look for run-ons, fragments, all the stuff that we've talked about. You're going to be in the proofreading, you're going to be looking for grammatical stuff that you need to fix. Have you capitalized everything that needs to be capitalized? First letters of the first words of every sentence. Proper nouns. Have you put punctuation at the end of sentences, those kind of things, everything that we've learned all year. And then once you have done the proofreading and done the revising, then you're going to be ready to send it to me. Okay, so that's what you're going to be working on this week. And again, you'll have another video on Wednesday to watch from someone else who will be going over some of the same stuff that I've talked about today, maybe in a little more detail, give you a few more examples that you can see. So I hope you have a good week. Again, all of this, you can work on it anytime you want to, but all of it is due by 8 p.m. on Friday. Have a good week. You guys are doing a great job.